My name is Annaliese Arvay. I am one of the senior class facilitators. I am so excited that you are here tonight to support the senior dance class of 2021. Tonight, we will be presenting 12 solos in both ballet and modern. Since August, we have been working diligently with our teachers, both on and off campus, to prepare us for tonight. While these pandemic circumstances aren't ideal, that has not stopped us from continuing our training. We have taken advantage of this one-on-one time with our teachers to focus in on who we are as dancers and how we can expand our artistic boundaries. And we are so excited to finally showcase what we have been working on for the past couple of months. At the end of the show, we will be having a conversation segment and give you an opportunity to ask us any questions that you may have. We will be discussing our pandemic school year, our experience at the Governor's School, and what we will take away from that as we graduate in May. So on behalf of the senior class, we hope that you enjoy the show and that you stick with us until the end of the performance.
This program has been made possible by the generous donations sought out through this government issued booking kit. You still have 2 remaining lifelines.
Go.
Earn money
Let's go.
for your chosen charity. You'll need months of free donation. Bail is set at $5,000. So they easily pop for your chosen charity. This program has been made possible by the generous donations sought out through this government issued booking kit. You still have 2 remaining lifelines.
Go.
Earn money
Let's go.
for your chosen charity. You'll need months of free donation. Bail is set at $5,000.
join us today for a conversation about our year thus far, our experiences at the Governor's School, and our plans for the future. Please feel free to ask any questions throughout our conversation. Our Dance Department Assistant, Adair Kemp, is standing by to relay all of your questions directly to us. We're happy to inquire with any of your inquiries you have. I'll start with my story. I came from Simpsonville, and I came into the Governor's School as a sophomore. I joined a year early, and I started the school at only 14, and this was a pretty big change for me. Moving away from home and directly dedicating all of my studies to dance was pretty jarring, and I was homesick in the beginning of the year. But with my amazing peers, my teachers, and the Govy community, I was able to successfully transition in both my arts and academic classes. Coming into the Governor's School early helped me experience professionalism and different art areas simultaneously, and it really opened my eyes to how art can impact the world. The Governor's School has helped me through so many transitional periods and big changes, including COVID and college applications, and I couldn't be more thankful for everyone who has supported me. Now, Anna's going to share a little bit about her experiences at the Governor's School.
Hello, I'm Annaliese Arvay. I came to the Governor's School as a junior, unlike Kayla, so my experience was a little bit different. I actually moved from a different state, so my first year at the Governor's School was new state, new friends, new everything, so I was very unsure about the transition that was ahead of me. Not only did I have to make a bunch of new friends, but I had a whole new dance environment that I had to get used to. Coming into the Governor's School, I knew that I wanted to get involved in leadership as soon as I could. So when I came in as a junior, we were talking about a class facilitator and who would step up in that position. And a facilitator leads up a positivity program that we do. We lead group activities, and we are a voice to our instructors kind of as a mediator. So I have had the privilege of being a class facilitator for our junior and senior year alongside Kayla, which has been a blessing because I have gotten to have close relationships with my peers as well as my instructors. I know Ashlyn has had a lot of leadership positions both in the dance department and outside of it, so Ashlyn, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn DuPree, and like Anna, leadership has always been a really big interest of mine, and I find that the Governor's School does a good job of offering us positions both in leadership for arts and academics. Personally, this year, I'm a member of our NHS chapter, I am part of the school's honor council, and I am a school ambassador. Most of us are in the NHS chapter, so we get to work together on community-based service projects. But what I find pretty unique about our NHS chapter is that we actually get to incorporate a lot of arts into our work. And so I know that at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people were filming themselves for, singing for people in the nursing home or reading them a poem that they wrote themselves. So that's been really cool to see. As a member of the school's honor council, I get to work with a few of the other students, and on campus we get to promote academic integrity along with integrity within our residential life. And this past year, I was presented with the opportunity to become a school ambassador with Alina. Alina, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Hi, my name is Alina Shaner. I'm a third-year senior. So in the previous years, ambassadors have been ones to lead tours, greet guest artists, and just be there for new students whenever new students need help. Because we are not in person this year, we had to figure out a way to connect with our prospective students and visitors to maintain that connection with the arts and the community. So over Zoom, we've had live Q&As with our students to answer questions for people auditioning or prospective students. We show pre-COVID performances, and it's really important for us to maintain that sense of community. Sofia is going to share a little bit about how we did that in such troubling times.
Hi, I'm Sofia Zwerdling. I joined the Governor's School as a sophomore. In the spring of our junior year, we were sent home due to the pandemic, and I was struggling to find space in my house to dance. Because we had the first semester of senior year on Zoom, my family and I decided to purchase a dance floor that would be installed in our garage, and I knew that this studio would be able to hold more than one person, so I invited all of our class to let them know that they were welcome at any time to rehearse works or repertoire take daily classes, or even student choreography. And I think because of this, we have bonded so well, and our community has stayed very strong. And Hannah has a really strong connection to the studio because we've taken classes together almost every day, if you want to take it from there.
Hi, I'm Hannah Pancoast, and like Sofia said, I have been making the drive out to her studio every single day. This has been such an interesting journey, from the weather challenges that we face and just staying connected. I think Sofia and I have grown incredibly close throughout this pandemic, as well as anyone else that lives near. We can say, hey Alina, hey Kathryn, come dance with us, come be a part of this little studio garage. So yeah, it definitely has been home to so many memories, and I'm so grateful to have that space.
Going off of that, it can be really hard to be dancing by ourselves every day in our homes, so knowing that Sofia was there and was gracious enough to let us come to her house and use her space, she's very welcoming. That was really nice. It lifted the spirit a lot. I know there were a lot of days when I needed it, and I knew Sofia was always there, open arms.
I always knew that I wanted to help out in any way that I could, and so with this studio, I think that I helped them adjust to life at home. So I'm really grateful that I got to help out a little bit with that.
Definitely. So now we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to move our focus to questions from the chat.
All right, so we've got one question. What are some opportunities outside of Governor School that have helped you expand as an artist?
I can start that one. So I know last year, just before COVID, in early February, as a class and the other senior class, we got to go to Pittsburgh for the National Dance Festival. And that really helped me expand my boundaries because I offered classes that weren't just ballet and modern, they had some jazz classes, and they just had teachers from every different school that we could possibly think of. So I was able to take a lot of different classes from schools that I was interested in or places that I wanted to have connections to, and I know that really expanded my artistic boundaries and helped me break out of my shell.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because we went to such a big festival, there were students from all over the United States. So that was really inspiring for me to learn from my peers, not only the teachers, because it's always nice to meet new people and see different people's backgrounds. So I really was inspired by my friends alongside.
Yeah, that festival was really helpful also because, we got to take classes from teachers that came from colleges that we wanted to go to. I especially just committed to a college, and I took a class from them at festival. So that was extremely helpful for me to see the teachers' styles and the teachers' ways that they like to move and what they like in a dancer. So that was extremely helpful for me. I'm sure everyone can relate on that one.
I think a lot of us grew up in classical ballet, so it was very interesting to take a step outside of our comfort zone and take different classes that we normally don't take. Like Alina said, we learn from our peers around us. So, in a ballet class, one girl, she could be so strong in ballet, or it's just interesting to see how different dancers move in different ways, and picking up from the people around you that you've never even met, but just feeding off their energy. So I think this is definitely an experience that we're going to take away, especially because it was such a community moment for all of us too. Sitting on a bus for 8 hours together definitely was a bonding moment, not even just between us, but between us and our teachers. So it was definitely, I think, something we're going to take with us when we graduate.
All right, well, before I get to the next question, I do want to just let y'all know some shout outs that we've gotten. We have from the Hart School, Stephen Pierre has said, lovely to see another year of wonderful Govies doing such beautiful work. Congratulations to you and your terrific faculty. So I just wanted to point that out to y'all. And then we will go to the next question, which is for Hayden. What is it like to be a male dancer at the Governor School?
Hi, I'm Hayden McCann, and third year senior male dancer. So definitely being a male dancer at the Governor School, it's a very unique experience, and there's definitely a lot of benefits that come with it. And the first one I think of is this mentor-mentee relationship that I have with Mr. Shoemaker and all of the dancers here. have mentors in the dance department, and so men are really lucky to have a male ballet teacher who they can look up to, who helps navigate them through their training and everything to get ready for a career. And it's also great having Mr. Shoemaker here because he teaches men's technique class, partnering, and then men's variations. So you're getting a wide array of classes which will help you get ready for college or professional life, whatever the decision may be. And it's always great because even though there's only a few male dancers, you have this fantastic support system around you at all times. And even with the girls, I've always felt supported. So no matter how many men are in your class, you're always going to have support, and it's just great to like have that. And finally, you're always going to be busy as a male, and I know sometimes men can feel looked over, but in the dance department here, you're always either going to be in class or learning choreography or trying to help a partner or a girl. So it's always going to be something, and you're never going to get looked over. And so, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah, and going off of that, at the governor's school, we are lucky enough to have partnering class, which is something that a lot of times people our age don't have the opportunity to have yet. So definitely having partnering class with someone our age is definitely a different experience than a lot of people get to have. There's a certain level of trust because we're all such good friends that when I get to partner with Hayden, there's this level of trust and communication that sometimes isn't there when you partner with someone older than you or one of your teachers or something like that. So I know that in ballet partnering, it's all a learning process, but we also have two different types of partnering. We have ballet partnering and modern partnering for the different tracks. So I'm ballet track, so I took ballet partnering last year, and that was definitely like, we started slow, simple stuff, and then we kind of worked our way up. Hayden, if you want to kind of talk about what modern track is like.
Yeah, so the great thing about male partnering class is even when I'm in the modern track, you will get modern partnering and ballet partnering, and those two really help because it's a really good communication builder, not only between like talking wise, but using like your body and like just connecting on some level where you just know exactly what the other person needs. And it's like this great trust building exercise where like, oh, she's falling this way, or she needs more of this, or he needs more of that. And it's actually great in modern partnering because the girls will partner each other, and so they develop that understanding as well, like, oh, maybe he needs a little bit more of this, or I can do this to help him. So it's really this fantastic communication builder that you don't get to see in many at-home studios. That's why having partnering here, of course, pre-COVID, but it's still just a fantastic way to like trust and communicate with one another.
All right, here we've got a question from Bailey Greenman. What are all of your plans for college, and how do you think the dance department has prepared you for your individual paths?
So I can take this one because I actually just committed to college a week or two ago. I've committed to the University of South Florida in Tampa to double major in business and dance. I'm super excited for this transition. I've been looking forward to moving back to Florida since my parents told me you're going to college in Florida since, the very beginning. So I'm very excited to go back. I'm really interested in doing choreography, like really honing into my choreography skills, as well as moving into arts administration, learning how to create funding for the arts, because that's something that's really, really valuable. So that's sort of what I'm looking to do in college and hopefully after college.
And to answer the other part of that question, how the Governor's School has prepared us, we have a career prep class that we take junior year with Mr. Shoemaker, and we do a bunch of research. We just fish out a bunch of schools and we just dive in and really like dissect each school to make sure we find the best school for us. And senior year, like Hayden mentioned earlier, we have a mentor-mentee program. So we meet with our teachers once a month and talk about our progress and the application process. The application process has definitely been different this year due to COVID. Does anyone want to talk on that?
I can. So going into this, picking colleges and schools, I kind of knew that I wanted to be in a university setting along with somewhere that had a strong dance program. So when I started the application process, I was very unaware of the fact that usually there's an application for the university itself and then the dance program. So when I was filling out like 16 applications instead of 8, you know, that kind of became a trend that I was realizing, and I think we all went through that. But yeah, so each school wanted a certain requirements that solely pertain to their program, so we had to film basically a different video for every school, which it was a struggle, but I think we did it. At this point, I think most of us are pretty much done with our applications, but so yeah, in the end, I think I learned a lot about each program, so it was a good experience.
All right, here's a question from Stephen Peer. What do you hope to bring to this world through your art when you leave Governor School?
I can take this. I think after going through the pandemic, I think arts has definitely taken one of the hardest hits during COVID. So I think that as we graduate and we kind of come out of this pandemic setting, I think that just passion, I guess. I mean, dance is all about when you watch it, it's something that you feel. So I think we've been taught at the Governor School to really put ourselves into our dancing and make it our own. So I think just bringing that passion into art and different things like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of connecting passion. I think we've all realized how much we've taken this place for granted, and having space and having teachers and having a beautiful facility. So I definitely think we're probably all way more passionate about dance just in general now than ever before because we lost it for so long.
Being at home, and when I get in that mentality of, oh, I'm so tired, I just want to be at school, I have to remind myself, why are you doing this? And in the end of the day, it's passion.
And building off of that too, with what Hannah said, I think we really took performing for granted. Being able to share our art form and express that to other people and have them react in a positive way, that's something I really took back from the pandemic, because I was able to step back and realize that like our art can have impact on people and it can be so positive. So definitely just sharing that throughout the rest of our experiences is something I'm going to take.
All right, we have a question here from one of our junior dancers, Andrea. What is your advice for juniors on how to decide if we want to choose a professional path or college?
I can take that one. I know I looked into all the different types of universities, some strictly just academic, some dance and academic, and then I looked into some trainee programs. And honestly, I think doing both and just trying to dip your feet in the water a little bit, see where your heart can lead you from what you hear back from places is definitely a good way. And I know Ms. Jose has lots of connections to some companies, so it was really helpful for me to talk to my mentors and just kind of see what they would think and which route they think I should pull. So I know I talked to my mentors a lot to help me figure that decision out.
Yeah, going off that too, I honestly just think it's wherever your heart is pulling you. It's kind of a gut thing that, you know, I honestly just think that as you continue to dance, it just comes from your heart of whether, you know, and some people, they want to have, you know, that double major option like Hannah's doing, just kind of because, you know, you can get hurt in dance and something can happen, and so you have a backup plan. It's all kind of just about the route that you want to take, and it's your journey, not anyone else's, so you kind of just want to stay focused on what you want and not so much on what your peers are doing too.
Yeah, and I would just say really decide, do you want to do a conservatory-based program or do you want to do a regular university? Because that can really help narrow down your choices. If you want to explore other things, if you want to do more than just dance, then a university program is probably going to be a lot safer of a choice for you. If you want to be a professional dancer and just dance and dance for the rest of your life, then a conservatory is probably going to be your better bet. So really just deciding what you want to do in the future to help connect where you want to go after high school.
Also, I would just say that nothing's permanent, so don't be worried about choosing the wrong option, because you can always take a different path, you can change your mind, and that's totally fine. Always keeping that in mind. And I know that for me, I always thought that kind of going into being an apprentice somewhere or going into a company was the best option to then pursue a career in dance, but I also think that there's really many great universities and conservatories that have good dance programs that will prepare you well for a professional career.
All right, moving on. What tactics do you use to stay positive in and outside of school?
I'll take this one. Hi, my name's Erin Rutherford. This year, without our usual trips downtown and living with friends, it's been really hard to keep a positive mindset some days. I know that for me, being home, I've been able to take advantage of sort of picking up new hobbies and spending time with my family. So whether that's doing puzzles, baking, cooking, learning to sew, watching TV shows with my parents, everything. Finding little outlets like that is really helpful for me to keep a positive mindset. And also, we've been able to maintain a really strong connection within our class. So it's really helpful. Some days are hard, but I have a really good group of people to do it with.
Adding on to that, my name is Ashton Rivera, and another great way I've found to sort of form a connection with people in our school is by being involved in school organizations and clubs, such as the Feminist Club, which I am fortunate enough to be the co-president of. I found that that's been a great way to meet people outside of the dance department and also just engage with the Governor's School community. And outside of school, I found it helpful that I've been able to go to my home studio and take in-person classes, and that's allowed me to sort of dance in a real studio instead of my little home space. And I've also been able to see a lot of my friends at dance and perform again in person.
Building off of what Ashton said about the clubs, there are so many different clubs that are offered here, like Multicultural Club, International Relations, even like Sign Language Club and Gardening Club. And it's a great way to meet other people from different art areas and kind of engage with them and see how their art can impact how they're working in the club. It's just a great way to see how art can overall impact the world and shape different people.
All right, here is a question from Gubby Miriam. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name, but she asked, what was your rehearsal process like for this performance versus past performances, and how have you grown from putting on a showcase during a pandemic?
I can take this. It was definitely a process. I think that it was a learning process. I did a lot of my rehearsing in Sub's garage because I dance in my bedroom every day. So I was very fortunate to go there. But it definitely was interesting doing it over Zoom. Because, there's not that physical aspect of, being there in person, and then, if your arm is the wrong way, they can't just move your arm, and kind of mirroring what they're doing. So definitely very interesting, something we've never done before. But I think that, honestly, we all pick up choreography a lot faster now in person, because we're learning some student choreography right now, so I think we're all picking up things faster because it's in person now. But a lot of it was self-reflection too, of recording yourself and seeing what you can fix on your own, because your teacher can't see everything through the camera. So a lot of working on yourself and being in tune with your body. But does anyone else want to talk about a little bit what they had to go through?
I will. I was very anxious and nervous that I was going to feel unprepared. I was like, how are we going to do this? But I got an empty studio at my home studio, and I put my Jose on my computer, and I was like, can you see me? And she's like, no, move it. But it was I felt very prepared, and we had just as many rehearsals as we would have here during the week. We made it work. We really did.
Probably had more rehearsals than during this than we would have not in a pandemic, to be honest. I mean, I feel like I've been rehearsed so many times.
Yeah, definitely felt very, very prepared and comfortable. Like the solos were like a part of our body, like we could do it in our sleep.
Oh yeah.
All right, last question of the evening. While at the Governor's School, did you experience any epiphanies or lessons that you will take with you?
I can take this one. Hi, I'm Kathryn Green, and I came as a sophomore student. And actually during my sophomore year, I had 3 surgeries on my ankles, and so for a lot of the year I was unable to participate in dance physically, but my teachers encouraged me to take most of the time to grow mentally. So I became really interested in the psychological aspect behind dance, and This actually really helped me with my recovery process, and I'm going to be taking that into my future as I want to double major now in psychology and dance, so that's exciting. And just like observing my teachers from a different perspective and seeing them teach and choreograph in a new way really inspired me to actually choreograph, so now I'll be choreographing in our next show. So just my overall getting an opportunity to see dance from a different perspective really shaped my interests and shaped my future path.
I think another thing that we all took away was how important actually just sitting and learning about the anatomy, taking Pilates, cross training, just doing like extra things on the side to strengthen and prevent injury. That's not taking like 5 classes a day, but you still grow so much more just from learning about your body. We're now able to like take on corrections better because we can, like, how do you say it?
You're more in tune with
You're
your
more
body.
in tune with your body, yeah.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think that the dance department has really prepared us for the dance world in the future, and not just because of physically dancing. There were a lot of courses that we've taken from sophomore year all the way up to senior year, such as music for dancers, nutrition, dance history, along with yoga and Pilates and anatomy. And these helped us really understand everything that contributes to dance, and I think that's the biggest thing that I would take away, and really just learning how everything works together. So.
Thank you so much for your support and for being here tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our performance and our interactive conversation. Make sure to keep following the dance department, and we would love to see you at a live performance in the future.